being here, working here, having this talk with you, uh, it's crazy because I always implement what I learn, man. I've gotten to the point where I'm in a field that requires me to be humble. I'm in a field that doesn't
Mm.
require me to be an arrogant asshole. Um, and this teaches you that how you treat yourself, what you do with you. Are you disciplined enough to put your phone away for a few hours a day? Are you disciplined enough to eat what's right for you most of the time? That's how you treat you, man. That's what people say, self love, self care, that bullshit. You gotta show that. It's easy to say I love you. It's hard to show that shit. So once you show
Dude,
it,
that's a
you know,
That's a great point, man. People say self love, self care. I fucking give myself whatever I want. And I was like, that's not self love. That's not self care. That's self
yeah,
indulgence. You know,
yeah,
self love, self care is fucking like restricting the things that are fucking easy and giving yourself a little bit of adversity every now and again, whether it's through training or whether it's through fasting or whether it's through digital detoxes or
hmm
removing, those fucking nice, comfortable things in your life for a period of time so that when you do start using those things again, you fucking appreciate it and you're grateful for it. That is self love. That is self care in my mind.
bro, 100%. I don't know if you've heard of certain like military guys who are like, oh, I go to bed at fucking 9 p.m. and I wake up at 3 a.m. because I have to be up before the enemy. Personally, I don't agree with that shit because I feel like we're losing that human touch, right? Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, man. Sometimes you gotta sleep in, just fucking sleep in, man. Your body needs that. You need to feel human, and most people think that when we do things like not have our phones, making ourselves uncomfortable is by going on long runs, going on hard lifts, going on a hard workout, going to a jiu-jitsu class, going to a boxing class, going to a Muay Thai class. That's when I was a Tiger man. I was fighting. I wanted to see what I was about. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I'm about to throw down with somebody that wants to throw down with you, and it fucking humbles you, bro. You know, it shows you you're you could be anything, but you're no one. So if you choose to do good and learn and ask other people about their life experiences and what they've been through, I'm sure you love playing rugby, but it's a good fucking push to let all that shit out. You know what I mean? When you grab some fucking dude and boom, smash him. It's a good
100%,
feeling,
man.
bro.
And that's
Right?
that's a that's a controlled, and like you said, man, like jujitsu, martial arts. For me, it's rugby, and I've taken up BJJ recently as well in the last 6 months, and dude, like I'm fucking loving it, man, because it allows me to channel my natural aggression and
Mm-hmm.
competitiveness, which increases my testosterone levels, so and keeps everything balanced. So I think that's important for people, particularly men, man, to understand that we need to be competitive with certain things. Sometimes
Exactly.
we need to be competitive with other people in that kind of combat or contact environment, but we also
Exactly.
need to be competitive with ourselves at times. But again, it's at times. It's about applying that tool at the appropriate time. We can't be competitive with others and competitive with ourselves all the fucking time. We need to pick and choose when we go into those battles. Otherwise, you just fucking burn the candle at both ends and burn yourself out.
100%, bro. I think when you compete, especially these guys at Tiger, or all over the world, people that dedicate themselves to martial arts, mixed martial arts, whatever it is that they do for a living as a profession, or when it comes to sports, man, these guys have a different chip, you know. Um, they know, they all believe, they have it deep in their mind that they're gonna make it, But the hard reality of it is, a lot of them don't, and you could see sometimes the difference between the guys that make it and the guys that don't. Look at your client Peter. That kid was wild when he was in Tiger,
Mm.
man. He was dang. You could see that
Peter
different type of
Yan,
yeah.
the
You could see
man.
that mentality, man, and you could see even the Hickman brothers, bro. I talked to George and Frank
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and they're awesome dudes to get from, and you see them now. I think Frank's in the States, and you see how it's their craft, man. It's not a hobby. It's not I did this for a few months,
Mm.
so I'm gonna call myself a fighter. These guys
Mm-hmm.
live that, breathe that. That's their
Mm.
comfort zone. So for them to be uncomfortable, it'll have to be something totally different. But these guys that fight, the guys that you coach, the guys that are in this environment, they're a different beast, man. A whole different mentally, they're different, and they're the ones that learn. also have to learn the other aspect of life, which is comfort. It's okay to not train one day. It's okay to enjoy nice
Mm,
things one day. But a lot of them just want to grind because they want to make it so bad. So where do you draw the
mm.
line with these guys? You know what I mean? Like, hey, rest, bro. You need to rest. Take it
Dude,
easy today.
yeah, dude, that's like literally been my job as a coach. Like with Peter Yan, as you said, like, you know, I've trained him. I think 5 of his UFC fights, and since he signed his first contract and made his debut, and normally I only have him for like 4, 6, 8 weeks during fight camp when he's in
Mm-hmm.
Thailand. And my job, man, yes, my job is to make him, you know, stronger, faster, more explosive, build his engine so that he has the endurance to be able to fight his fight. But, you know, if I'm not managing his stress levels and his workload and his recovery so that I can get the most out of him in that training session, then, you know, there's potential for injury, there's potential for burnout, because all of the other coaches, he's working with the Hickman brothers, he's working with George on his MMA, he's working with Frankie with his wrestling, he's
Mm-hmm.
working with Alex for his BJJ, you know, he's working with Johnny on his
Mm-hmm.
striking, and he's working with me for his strength and
Right.
conditioning. So he's got all these coaches that are fucking subject matter experts in their own fields, right? But all of these other coaches are fucking pushing him to the limits, man. They're hammering him. So he gets to me and he's dragging his heels, his head's down. I can see that he's fucking tired, man, but he's not going to show any weakness. He wants to get after it. And I'm like, I just go through some assessments, some balance-based assessments. And I'm like, all right, cool. I can see that he's a little bit fatigued today. I'll take his blood
Mm-hmm.
pressure. I'll take his heart rate variability. I see what his readiness level is, and I can see how much stress he's under. And then
Right.
I'll tweak and adjust the training session. I'm still going to get him to work hard. I'm going to do enough to elicit the response that I want, but not so much that I'm now taking away from his ability to perform in all of his other sessions with his other coaches,
Yep.
man. You know, because if he does too much and I do too much and he can't fucking hold his hands up in sparring, he's getting punched in the face by other dudes, or, you know, he's practicing poor technique because he's really tired, then that's going to carry over
Mm-hmm.
to the cage. So my job, for the most part, is to pull him back, man, and manage that recovery and make sure that he fucking, you know, we do enough to elicit the right response, but, you know, he
Yeah.
doesn't pick up any injuries. He's able to recover. He's able to manage his energy levels so he can get the most out of every one of his training sessions.
And if you were just a guy that, this is why I enjoy the, you know, sleep, time management, and all that thing. You know what I mean? If you were just a trainer that would want to get your client tired or whatever, you just push through. Um, the importance of recovery, man, and the mental health aspect of, I'm sure, like the fight game that these guys have to go through. You know, to them, fighting, it's they're willing to die there. It's just like to us being over here, man. Hey, man, shit hits the fan. You want to fucking play? Let's go, son. This is what I get paid to do. I'm ready. Um,
Yep.
Same thing for them. You know, the moment
Yeah.
that they're training so hard for maybe 1 round or 5 rounds. So they have to have that switch. But they also have to know how to relax. They also have to know how to listen to their body. And a lot of it comes from good coaching, good mentoring. Um, for them to understand as a person, what I had to do with all this shit, man, is it made me realize, like we said earlier, when my father passed, I was like, man, how fucked up would it have been if I was not ready? I wasn't ready to lose my dad, obviously, but mentally, if I was in a different state, how messed up would that be? And so it gives a whole different perspective on where your mental health is
Mm,
before you could perform physically. You know, before you can do just the minimal act of
mm.
being a human. You know,